trying to explain how Studio is handling formatting and how you can deal with it to achieve what you want to in transferring the formatting across, because you don't need a format paint in order to do this. I think what I've explained so far is correct, but this is how it works. So I've created a Word document. Now there's a couple of things to note about this Word document. First of all, this first segment I created just using the normal formatting. So this is using the underline style that's in the document. It's basic, and all I did was I added Word to here. I added a bold formatting to this bit, and I added an italic bit to this bit. What I did was I then copied it down so it was exactly the same. But then if you notice this one's Calibri, I then changed this one to Arial, I changed this one to Times New Roman, and I changed this one to Algerian. That's the only differences. But these ones are not following the normal style. So these are not underlying format of the document. It's important to note this because it's a little tricky to explain, but perhaps it'll make some sense when we go to Studio now. So I go to Studio. It's down here. And I've opened the file in Studio. I've added a TM, so in my project settings I've added my little TM down there. And then the penalties, I'm using the default settings where there is a 1% penalty for formatting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the first one across, and I'm just going to confirm it straight into the TM by pressing Control Enter. So I do that. I now get a 99% match on the bottom one. And the reason I get a 99% match clearly is because there's a different formatting. If I then go down to the next one, again I get a 99% match, and if I go down to the bottom one, again I get a 99% match. But you need to notice something interesting that's happening here, which is that first of all, in here, some of the formatting that's in these in these segments that's been auto-propagated from the original one as a 99% match is transferred across. So the first part of this has got the Algerian formatting, and I've got the italic segment formatting, but the rest of it hasn't gone across. It's fairly interesting. And the same thing has happened on these two, so it hasn't gone across. So the bottom part of this in each time is still the normal style, which was the Calibri. Now, if you look in the TM, it's kind of reversed a little bit, but in the TM you've got these little tags that you can see are starting to appear here. These tags are appearing in this one because they're in the source document, and the tags are there because I applied a style, a formatting, text formatting in Word to this segment. So this is the tag representing that. And if I click on View, I can't make that bigger in there because it's a placeholder. I'll show you what I'm doing that for in a second. In the editor you can't see the tags, and in the screenshots that you've shown you can't see the tags there either, but they are there. And if you go to the View tab and then click on this button here, or just use Control-Shift-H, this toggles the display of formatting tags in the editor. So when I press that, you should see all the tags. You do that, now you can see all the tags, and you can see how the formatting's been changed in each particular instance. I'm just going to make those a little smaller because they're a bit unwieldy to work with, so we can see what's going on. I'll come back to my home view. Now, so now you can see the tags, and you can also see that in the original one, I better just go back to this again just for 1 second. I'm sorry for jumping around so much. On the first one, the whole segment had the normal underlying style of the document, so there's no font in there. The only tags are for the bold and for the italic. The rest of it has just taken what's in the document. The other segments have had the font added, and you can see them actually in here. The whole thing is the font is added, but because this first segment, which I confirmed into my TM, didn't have a tag at the end, for example, then when you go down to the bottom ones, neither do these, because they've been auto-propagated from the first one. That's the only one that's in the TM. So of course it's not going to auto-propagate tags that are not there. So that's why it doesn't work in that way. I'll show you how that might apply in a second. But the first thing I want to show you is how you might get the tags to go into how you would transfer this formatting into the segment to make it match, which is what you wanted to do. So I'll just reduce the size of those again just to make it a bit easier. And in fact, what I normally do is I like to work in tag ID mode, because when you work in tag ID mode, it's much easier to see which tags apply to which. So you can see here actually, now I've got 9, 10, 11, so 3 sets of tags in here, and I've only got 9 and 11 in here, so I'm missing a complete set of tags. which is why the formatting's not correct. So possibly the easiest thing to do in this case is click in the segment here, and under the home button just clear the formatting. I can clear all the formatting, all gone. So the formatting's disappeared. And now to put them back in here, I don't necessarily have to do that. I could have done it bit by bit, but just to show you how this works. If I highlight first of all the whole lot, because I know the whole lot is supposed to be Algerian, the same as the other one. I can then press Control, comma, and I want it to be 10, like that. Actually, the interesting thing is it was supposed to be the way I actually formatted the document. I've got two different sets of it, but I'll make that, so perhaps I won't do it like that. Perhaps I'll just make it match the whole thing. So I'll go 9 to 10, so here, oh sorry, all of 10 first of all, so go to Document. I can press Control, comma, and then I can select 9. And when I do that, it adds the formatting between those tags. What I can also do is I could have just held the Control button down, and then when I move the mouse over, you see how I can select the different formatting, so I could pick that. And that would almost also put the tags in. Then I pick the next bit, and the next bit needs to be as far as I have, like that. Oh no, that goes all the way across. So 10 goes all the way to the bottom actually. You can see the numbers, 10 goes across to the end. So I'm going to press Control here and select the 10. So now I've put the 10 in there. And then I want to put the italics in, which is come across the segment. So then I can pick my come across the segment and use the same method if I want to, come across the segment. So now it matches exactly, and I haven't had to use any formatting. All I've done is transferred the formatting that was in the source in order to get that there. Now the interesting point to note here is that with this particular segment, because this has got formatting in both sides, it wasn't 100% match in the first place. I'm going to press Control Enter and I'm going to confirm that segment. So I've now got a proper match on that one. If I move back up to the top, I'm now getting a 99% match on the first one because the only difference was the formatting. So in reality what I should have done is probably added it as, and you can see I'm also getting this message down here, different target in translation memory. So the translation memory is holding something different, but it's already confirmed, so it's giving me that warning. And the reason for that is because I've overwritten the translation with the other one. So in order to put it back, I could add it as an additional, as a new translation if I wanted to. And but I'll do that in a second. But the first thing I wanted to show you is that because this segment was formatted in the same way as these two here, i.e. I applied the formatting to the normal one afterwards. I can click on this one and I'm getting 100% match. I can click on this one and I'm getting 100% match. And that's because these tags are only placeholders. So actually if I take these two here, for example, and I just clear the target segment, if I arrow down into this one this time, you see I'm now getting 100% match. And what's more, the formatting is perfect because the placeholders were already there for a segment that was formatted in the same way as this one. So the reason you're having this problem is because probably the segment that's in your TM was not formatted in the same way, or the tags were not in the same place, and they need to be transferred across. Now just to show you now, if I wanted to get this one in here so that I didn't have this issue, the next time I come to the document, I can add this as a new translation. So I can go to Advanced, add as new translation. If you know the shortcut, it's just Control-Shift-U. So I can add that as a new translation. You can see I've now got 2 in there, and then confirm it. So it's now there as a second one. And to show you how that works now, if I just select, if I just select them all, clear the target segment, and I come back into these again now. Let's go back home. Apply the first one, so I'll just press Control T to apply the first translation. So I'll get 100% match on that one, context match on that one, context match on that one, and a context match on that one, because I've got the 2 segments in there with the correct formatting that apply it. So the next time I come to a document like that, I'm getting my matches all the way through. And that's pretty much how it works. I hope that explains it. I'm sorry I've waffled an awful lot there. I'm losing my voice a little bit today. But I hope that was enough to make it a little bit clear for you.